All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of SaberSim's DFS office hours. It is Tuesday, October 17th of 2023 here. Looking ahead, we have an MLB showdown slate for you tonight and an 8-game hockey slate. So still plenty of DFS action with NFL taking the day off. And we are officially 1 week away from NBA opening night, another awesome time of the year with NBA returning. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at SaberSims, the show where we go over how to use the SaberSim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You get your questions in one of three ways here. First off, send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Second, post it live in the YouTube chat. Third way, post it in the office hours channel in our Discord server. If you're not in our Discord, want to get access to that channel, there is a link in the description of this video here. You get access to our sim alerts, get access to the office hours channel. We can ask questions ahead of time, get access to the individual sport channels and our release notes channels. See when updates go live, see when bugs are fixed. So really good place to be to get alerts and updates around SaberSim here. But with that said, gonna get the app pulled up. And as always, to start the show, I want to remind you guys, if you guys are not signed up for our weekly max challenge, we just finished week 6 here. So still going strong, still plenty of people participating each and every week. If you are not yet, you still have time to cash in on some of the season-long rewards, and there are still weekly prizes each and every week. So this page is in the description of this video. Use the green enter the challenge button and get signed up. Check out the eligibility requirements down here on the bottom. Pretty simple here, and you will be all set to participate in our giveaway. But going to get SaberSim pulled up here. I did run a couple builds just to give us something to look at instead of having to wait for them to run. So we're going to start with the questions that came in the office hours channel, and then we'll jump into any questions that come in the YouTube chat. But first question from Music Dude said, what is our recommended min-max player salary cap setting for NFL Showdown as well as NFL main slates to prevent duplication? I placed first in last night's matchup in both FanDuel single game and 150 max, but split the winnings between 10 players for the single entry and about 90 for the 150 max. I'm still pretty excited. This was my first win using SaberSim. Well, congratulations on the win. Yeah, happy to talk about duplication here a little bit. I would say that, I don't love setting a number and using it for every single slate. I think that, there are some differences between slate where maybe it's like a quote unquote ugly slate and there are, backups and it's a low scoring environment and maybe there's bad weather and like maybe you can get away with an even lower salary cap in like those formats. But then maybe, you have some games where it's like a shootout and it's a high total and maybe you're going to need to use a lot of the salary cap, but to get different with roster construction. So I would say one thing that you guys can do here, which we used to do this automatically, is for like the largest field contest, basically just ignore max salary cap lineups. Like set the max salary cap to 49,900 instead of 50,000 here. A lot of people building by hand are going to try and use as much salary as possible. And so I think that, max salary lineups are going to be the most duplicated lineups that you can build here. So I would be okay with 49,900. I think that you could take it on a slate by slate basis, just like have something in your notes that or in your head that just says, hey, I want to make a conscious effort to look at the salary of the lineups that I'm playing, maybe set a filter, maybe look at some alternates here. And, maybe I set it at 49.9. Okay, what kind of lineups am I getting? Maybe I set it at 49,000. Okay, what are my top lineups looking like? And then find a number where the salary and the lineups that you're seeing after that salary filter is applied makes sense to you. Those lineups still pass the eye test. You're not sacrificing so much salary that your lineups just look completely off the wall. So that's what I would say in regards to NFL Showdown. And for NFL main slates, I actually would not worry about this. NFL main slates are so big. There are 9 players in a lineup as opposed to 6 in Showdown. The player pool is absolutely massive. There are just so many lineup combinations that you can build on an NFL Classic slate that I really would not worry about duplication. I think it's totally fine to build max salary lineups in NFL Classic slate. But again, happy to hear of your success. One other thing, FanDuel plays 5 players in a lineup and DraftKings plays 6. So just because of there are less players in the lineup and FanDuel does not do a salary multiplier for your MVP spot, it's more likely that you have more duplicated lineups on FanDuel. So I think that's just the nature of playing on FanDuel. So I wouldn't read into that too much, like, hey, you're doing something wrong. I think that, you know, it's okay, all things considered. All right. Question here from Point Blank. Question says, would you recommend setting rules for secondary stacks like people frequently do with primary stacks? I would say no. And I don't think you need to. I think secondary stacks are good. And Max and I talked a lot about this in our week 6 main slate review. If you guys haven't seen that, it went live this morning here. So over on the YouTube channel, you go to videos, NFL review, studying Millie Maker trends through 6 weeks here. So as you guys know, we're now loading in all the lineups in contest flashback for even the largest field contest. So we went back and looked at a couple weeks of Millie Makers here. And one thing that we were talking about were the stat correlations and some of the secondary stat correlations. So what I would suggest here is that if you want more secondary stat correlations, mess around with the slider, right? Run multiple builds. Set the slider at the default, see what the secondary stacks look like. Set the slider lowers, set the slider higher, and see what those lineups look like. And then figure out, hey, is the default slider setting getting me to the amount of secondary stat correlations I want? Is it getting too much? Do I need to lower it? Is it getting too few? Do I need to increase it, right? So I think that you can handle that with the correlation slider. I don't think you need to set any hard and fast rules to do that. But good question. All right. Next question here. Question says, kind of related to our first question. What are your thoughts on setting a lower max salary in Showdown as a strategy to reduce dupes? I noticed that the highest sim ROI players in last night's minimax didn't have any salaries with more than 48K salary. Yeah, so in one of our main slate reviews here, we did one where we were talking about NFL Showdown. So it was this week 4 show, balancing uniques with win rate in NFL Showdown, looking at, you know, maxers and trying to come up with some conclusions there. People are getting to high sim ROI portfolios in very different ways. Some people are sacrificing a lot of salary and sacrificing a lot of projection to get to a bunch of unique lineups. Some people are maintaining a high projection and finding a balance with average number of dupes and a lower overall number of unique lineups. So there's a lot of like different ways. They're not really like a one size fits all answer. There was a post in the pro channel that Matt did a couple weeks back, which I thought was very interesting. So the 2 lowest, like most negative sim ROI portfolios in a given Showdown contest was from 2 players. One of them had like almost all of their lineups were unique. And then one of them had like the most dupes, the most average dupes on the slate. And they were both terrible, right? So some person went way off the reservation trying to get unique, and their win rates were so low that the sim didn't grade those lineups out well. And then there was another person who like played all the chalk, you know, tried to get to high win rate lineups, and then their lineups were so duplicated that they also graded out very poorly in the sim. So you could see that like even 2 players coming from opposite sides of the spectrum, you know, their results ended up being very similar, right? So I think that also goes to say on the flip side of the coin, and positive sim ROIs, you can approach it from different angles and find good portfolios of lineups. So you don't have to just play, I'm going to sacrifice salary, like play that angle. You could do it a lot of different ways, right? So I would spend some time looking at like the differences between the players, right? And I know that we were having some issues this morning, which we're still working on fixing with loading some of the lineups from yesterday here, but let's see if those are up now. So we could talk about this a little bit. I think it's just from a demo I was doing. All right, so I believe, I don't know if we're going to be able to load these at the moment, but we could try something a little smaller, maybe like the flea flicker. Oh, no, we can load these now. Cool, cool. Okay, so we'll spend a little time talking about this. So if you go to users, so this contest flashback on the pro and ultimate plan here. So if we go to users, I'm just going to close the lineups here. And then I want to filter for 150 max. and I want to sort by sim ROI. So these are top sim ROIs down, right? Some names you guys probably know: Osmo, Shady Advice, Giant Squid, Tinderella, right? So some big names here. If you look at these lineups, they're going to be different. And something that I've seen like a little bit of a trend with Osimo's lineups is that he usually has a little bit lower average score and a little higher unique number of unique lineups, right? And then I think that, JSF here is like that same style where they're sacrificing projected points and then they're getting to a ton of unique lineups, right? So that's something that's interesting here. And then you look at somebody else, like some other players, where maybe let's take Can't Fade Me, right? Highest sim ROI. His average dupes is higher at around 11, lower number of overall unique lineups at 27, but his sim average score is higher, so he's playing a higher projected lineups, and then his sim win rate is still pretty high, right? So you could see, like, just from looking at a couple players here, that there are a lot of different ways to get to that. I think Giant Squid's portfolio is really good, right? High sim average score, not that many unique lineups, but his average dupes is 6 overall, right? In 150 lineups, averaging about 6 dupes per lineup. I think that's great, right? So not a super, one size fits all answer. All of these portfolios are positive sim ROI, right? Some more than others, but that's just to goes to show, like, hey, there's not one right way to build your lineups. You can come in it from all these different angles. So I think that, spending some time in this tool and looking at some of these things is great. I think that there are also some other columns that you can add here. If you guys wanted to come in here and see some of these here, I don't know if there's a salary one. Like, I don't see one that says average salary. I think that you could go into any one of these players. Like, hey, I want to go look at Can't Fade Me, right? So I'm going to zone in on his lineups, and then I'm going to go see what he played, right? And then I could come in here, and then I could sort by salary. And then it's like, okay, what's the highest salary lineup he played? Oh, okay, he's playing 49.9. He's not playing any lineups that are 50,000, right? And that's something that we kind of talked about. So you can zone in on any one player, see what they're doing, and sort by different metrics here, and try and draw some conclusion. But I would say that, probably excluding lineups that are salary 50,000 here for this player, right? In an effort to get unique. So those are the things that I'm looking for when I'm reviewing post contest sims and trying to do it. I think that for Showdown specifically, you can get a lot of information from just looking at the users tab. I don't think you can get so much information from doing that in like classic slates. I think classic slates, you might want to spend some more time looking at like the actual lineup constructions here, but still interesting to see, more than one path to victory here. And then really quickly, John said, I'm on pro and I do not see the users option when looking at the contest. So if you click in to any one of these contests here, like this is a post slate, right? So I had to go back to yesterday. So if I click on any one of these and then the lineups load, as long as the lineups load, you can go into the players tab here, and then you should have the ability to see the users here. So I don't know why you wouldn't see that. If you're not seeing it, if something looks wrong or something looks different than what I'm looking at, do me a favor, go to the top right corner, go to report a problem, write us a brief description of what the issue is that you're experiencing, and then our support team can look into it and get back to you and let you know, hey, do this or do that, and we can help you troubleshoot from there. So I would do that. All right. Next question from Timmy here. Timmy said, off the wall question, when I run simulations, are they processing on my local machine or on the SaberSim servers? So I believe they are processing on the SaberSim servers here, but good question. All right. Next question. Actually, we look like we're all caught up here. So a couple things I did want to call out. So if anybody has any other questions, now is a great time to get those in. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, there is an MLB Showdown slate tonight. So if you guys missed it, I released this video about a week ago, Crush MLB Playoffs DFS, MLB Showdown strategy for 2023. I made this like specifically for this season, talking about different ways that I'm looking at MLB Showdown. So if you guys are playing Showdown tonight, want to get in on some of the action, check out this video here. And then also, we have our 8-game hockey slate. So Jordan and Scott released a video 5 days ago, how to beat NHL DFS in 2023. I saw that somebody called this out on Twitter, said, hey, great video, Jordan and Scott. And they cashed for 25K. So seems like people are getting use out of these videos here. We're making a big content push. So yesterday or Friday, Jordan released his contest sim video. I released one yesterday. We had the review show today. We have another video coming out tomorrow around custom ownership and contest sim. So just pushing out a ton of content for you guys. And then obviously we're going to be looking ahead to NBA content ahead of NBA season starting a week from today. So big content push here. I know it can be a lot to keep up with, but trying to release kind of like a video a day for like the last week here and keep you guys engaged and help you guys win at DFS here. But that's what's going on. That is what you guys should be on the lookout for on our YouTube channel. You can set up notifications so you get alerted when our videos drop so you guys don't miss anything. So I would highly recommend that, but not seeing any more questions here at the moment. We will be right back here tomorrow, Wednesday, for our next show, 2 p.m. Eastern. As always, I'm Andrew, and good luck in your contest. Take care. I'll see you guys. Thanks. Bye.